At least it's recording this time.
Okay, good. Hello, hello.
This is the podcast, Girls.
And the city. You are welcomed by your two lovely co-hosts, me, Zuzana, who is looking for a real connection while having fun in the process for the plot.
And me, Elizabeth, who's taking the tech world by storm, but really is a hopeless romantic at heart. So each week, we will discuss the episode of Sex and the City, answer and reflect on the main questions of the episode, while sharing personal experiences and giving it a modern twist.
I thought you were going to change your line, Elizabeth.
I'm sorry, what do you mean? Do we change it every single time?
That's what I thought. I mean, it's okay. You can do it next time.
I guess I have to come up with a new one next time. All right, well, I'll get the memo and do better next time.
Never mind. So,
yeah.
how are you?
I'm doing all right. I got a beverage this time. Pretty proud of it.
Yeah. Welcome to our first officially recorded session with video as well. I'm having tea because we're gonna spill some tea, and also I'm in England and it's just horrible weather today.
So she didn't want to have a cocktail. That's fine.
I had way too many, not cocktails, but tequila shots last night.
Ooh. So how was the party?
It was great. So we had an office Christmas party yesterday, and
With
we met
tequila
at
shots.
1 p.m. We went to, I think we got some drinks, and then we had this pigeon clay shooting activity, which is not real. It was electronic shooting.
I see. Okay, so no one got hurt.
No, and it took me some time to figure it out, but at the end I actually won, like 2 last rounds, because I know how to shoot. You know,
That's the Eastern European in you.
in my previous life, aka when I was 12, I actually was shooting competitively.
Wow, that's a fun
Yeah.
fact.
That's what you do when you're growing up in a village in the middle of Slovakia. It's just like,
I mean, I guess. What else is a kid to do? You know?
yeah, I'd better shoot something.
Oh my
And
God.
then we just had drinks, and I was, in this big dilemma, like, am I gonna go for cosmopolitan, because that's usually my drink of choice, or
Yeah.
do I do tequila shots, because tequila is safe, one of the most safe type of alcohol for next day.
I don't know if shots are ever a safe idea. That's not something I would qualify them as.
Well, I don't have a headache. I'm fine.
Oh,
And
impressive.
I had definitely at least 6 shots.
Wow.
At
At a work event, that is purely brave. Like, I don't know if I have the guts for that.
Oh my God, I don't think this was a proper professional environment, because I met a lot of people I never met in my life. Because
Okay.
they are like somehow working. We are like very, very small startup, and some of them are working maybe on part-time basis or stuff. It was very unhinged. I don't know how deep I want to go, but I had one conversation with one person at some point.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think I can say this on the mic. Let's just say there's a lot of they gave me a lot of content for this episode.
Okay. That's the, yeah, I mean, like, was HR even there? I'm just thinking it's like,
I don't think we officially have HR.
oh, okay. Like, you don't have problems if you just don't have HR, like, coming and being
No.
like, what you guys chatting about? Okay.
It can also be me. I can assign myself as an HR.
Okay. Gosh. I mean, that's a lot of responsibility, a lot of liability there, but I get that.
Because
Okay.
of that, also my hair looks like it's the outcome of halfway washed and dried hair and walking outside on Saturday morning in London when it's raining. Then you just get this.
Yeah, I get that. The humidity there is insane. But it's good for your skin, though.
I'm shining.
You're glowing.
No, it's a new Dior foundation stick, just
Wow.
stick that I got influenced into, but I definitely can recommend. Great
It
foundation.
looks great. I love it.
So, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I mean, I didn't have such an eventful week as you did.
You
Sometimes we
mean
swap.
Friday? It was Friday.
It was Friday. I mean, yeah, but it sounds like it was a really nice end to the week. Yeah, no, I've just been working. A lot of fun stuff happening at work. They're shifting me to new products, which is, as like a product manager is
Mm.
always very exciting. Yeah, I get to work
Are
with
you
different
are you
kind of like
excited to move to different products?
I am, yes, but it's also like it's exciting because it's a whole new domain. It's a whole different like set of customers, and the user base is very different, but fundamentally it's very similar. But it's also exciting because the way that they pitched it to me, it was like, "Hey, we know that you built something from absolutely nothing last year. Can you do it again for this other segment?" So that was very fun to me. Yeah, but our Friday, so we have like a happy hour every 2 weeks. And again, for everyone in the room, I work with a ton of engineers. And our happy hours, well, one, no one is drinking because a lot of people are in California. It's like midday for them, so they still have to work the rest of the day.
Is it
And the other
remote?
half of us, it's remote. Yeah, it's a half an hour Zoom call, and we usually play like games, like code names or something like that. Yesterday we played Scribble.io, and it's kind of like charades. You have to draw something and people have to guess what it is.
Mm.
That's as lit as our happy hours get. Absolutely.
Is anyone drinking at all?
No, I had coffee while we were at it.
That's why you have the drink now. You're like,
I have a drink right now because right now it's actually well it's 1 p.m. It's not too crazy. I had my Pilates this morning. Hit my 50th
best thing,
class.
the best thing after Pilates is just to get a drink.
It's Saturday.
It's a
Because I
balance.
can't.
It's all about
It's
balance.
exactly. And then the rest of the day I might meet up with a friend and go like thrift store hunting because that's a fun Saturday activity.
Mm.
Um yeah,
Um,
yeah.
my
That's kind of
Saturday's over.
oh well, I mean you still have Sunday.
True, true. I'm gonna go for Pilates as well.
Ooh, tell me how it goes. Yeah, mine was kind of a little intense. It's called Burn because they have like everything is named after some sort of bee. So the boxing is called Bash, and then the Pilates is called Burn, and it's a humbling
Mm.
burn. I'll put it that way.
Is that a reformer or mat Pilates?
No, just like on the floor on the mat. Yeah, but it
It can
includes
be still
weights
intense.
sometimes. It's still
Yeah.
intense. Yeah. But yeah, but should we dive into the episode? Do you want to
Yes.
give us the topic and the quick rundown?
Ooh. We have a very cool episode today, and it's episode number 5. I can't believe it's already 5th episode. And the name of the episode is "The Power of Female Sex." Um, a long story
Spicy.
short, very spicy. I think all characters are very spicy in this episode, especially Charlotte. We never say that she will reveal her alter ego this early on. Basically, the episode is about Carrie exploring the concept of using femininity as currency after receiving an expensive pair of shoes from her, let's say, socialite and very light friend Amalita, and her
I
latest
mean,
man,
correct me if I'm
Carlo.
wrong. She's an escort, right?
Well, that's something we should discuss because I don't
Okay,
know to
okay.
what
I'm not gonna jump
extent
to it.
she was an escort, and to what extent she was just kind of using her appearance and lightness to life to kind of
Yeah,
go through it.
international
But
party girl, right?
yes, but anyway, she receives. Gary's running a little bit low on money, and she's in, if I'm not mistaken, in Dolce and Gabbana store.
Yes, Dolce and
Some like,
Gabbana.
some like.
It's not Manala Blahnik, so I was confused. Yeah.
We have to start. We have to start humble. It's just episode 5. Or she. Okay, I actually don't know if she already mentioned Manolo in previous episodes. Anyway, I'm going off the main plot. So this friend of her actually pays for the pair, and then later Amalita invites her to this very fancy new bar that opened in New York, where she is matched with a friend of Amalita and other friends from her circles called, what was his name? Gilles, a French architect that is very handsome, very charismatic, and I would assume very rich as well. Um, and she's
Divorced
very,
as well, right?
yes, and has a child. And
Mm.
she's immediately charmed by him. They go for a couple of dates. Um, Only then, to her surprise, she wakes up in the morning when he's leaving to go to another country, um, by saying, "I will call you," and realizing that they didn't exchange numbers, and then finding $1,000 in the envelope as a thank you for the night. And this basically opens the whole topic of this episode as, what is actually this? Am I a hoe? Am I being considered an escort? What is my price? Is this even something that I want to do or not? And where do I stand on this? Long story short. Meanwhile, of course, we have parallel storylines. As Carrie is dealing with this huge question and discussing it mostly with Samantha and Miranda, who, surprise, surprise, have very opposite opinions.
Shocking.
Charlotte becomes involved, well, not involved, but somehow engaged with an artist who, in simple terms, uses women's vaginas as living canvases and paints them. Sorry.
Take a sip of your tea.
Oh gosh. Feels like I'm like shocked by saying the word vagina. I'm not. And deciding whether she wants to join his collection to kind of expand on her career and be part of a portfolio of such an known and recognized artist.
Mhm.
So yeah, in summary, I think this episode really delves into the theme of power, sexuality, sex, charisma, and what roles females and males have within these concepts.
Yeah.
And question, that will open our discussion is, where is the line between a professional girlfriend and just plain professional? I have to say, this is very, very diplomatic description of a plain professional.
It's pretty well put.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the other also question that I also picked up, and I don't think it's the main one, but like a secondary, it's like, should women, and I don't think this actually should be women, should anyone use their sexuality at like to their advantage? I think that's like also like an underlying theme of the
Yes, definitely.
episode as well.
One of the topics we should delve deeper
Mhm.
into.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so
Where should we begin?
No, I do think I want to start on a similar vibe of what you just said. But I'm gonna go back to the episode and actually quote Samantha to open
Exciting.
discussion.
Let's do it.
She, when they are eventually having a discussion about this between the four of them, Samantha says women have every right to use any means at their disposal to achieve power. So, my question to you, Elizabeth, is, what do you think about the statement?
I mean, I can't disagree, but I also think it's like it kind of goes both ways. It's like if you have tools or skills at your disposal, why not use them to do what you want, as long as it's like ethical.
So you would also consider charisma, sexuality, and all these topics as,
Yeah, because like if you take that example of like them trying to get, it's like the first like scene of the episode is like they're trying to get a table at this like super popular new restaurant bar, and then she like the hostess happens to be a woman, and she's like, "Ugh, if I was a man, we would have already had this table," right? It's
Yeah.
like. So she doesn't have that like, or if the host was a man, like they've also would have had the table. It's like she would have been able to use other resources at her disposal in order to get what she wanted. I mean, I don't disagree with that. Like, it's true. Like, it's the
Do you
same
think-
reason that like
do you
girls get
think
drinks
that-
at bars.
Do you think that women are using this more than men?
Uh, I think to a certain degree, yes. I think in terms of like they use their sexuality more than men, but men use other tools at their disposal more than women, right? It just be other ones.
I didn't necessarily mean sexuality per se, just like this game of, I guess, using whatever you've been given as a way to achieve your means. And maybe, especially in like social circles, like
Yeah.
gain whatever status you want. Like imagine if there would be like if Samantha was a man and they are trying to get a table, do you think that they would actually get a table because the girl behind the desk was a woman and like the guy would be able to
I
flirt
think
with her?
I don't know if it's like sexuality, but I think that guys a lot of the time use their charm. It's like their sweet
Yeah.
talk, their charm, but like it's not necessarily sexuality, but again, that's like another thing that they use. And a lot of times they also use their power, influence, or even their connections, and they flex that I think more than women do. It's like, do you know who I am kind of deal. Um, Whereas women, it's just like, yeah, you like flip your hair, giggle a little bit.
When was the last time you used that? It seems like a
It's
very
clearly not
weird
working.
concept.
It's clearly not working.
On your
I don't know if I
Friday happy hour drinks.
yeah to win at Scribble.io. No, I absolutely lose that game.
On the camera.
Hey, if I'm trying to get like the bartender's attention on a Friday night,
Oh right, because you wanna get a drink.
I want to get drinks, and there's always a line, and I'm always too short. So, like, what am I supposed to
Oh
do?
shit! Yeah, that's true. I'm all not in the UK though. Yesterday at the bar, actually, I was having the same issue, but I never push too much because I feel it's weird. So I would just stand there and like make eye
Glare at
contact.
them. Yeah,
Make
because
eye
as an Eastern
contact.
European, that's definitely going to work. It's going to intimidate them into giving you a drink.
Oh, I'm intimidating everyone around me as well. Like you're not getting ahead of me, or I will just cut the queue.
Oh my
That's
god.
that's
She's ready to fight at the bar before she's even got her
Oh yeah,
drink.
yeah. And then I just go to the waiter, like I am here. You have to serve me. So I don't really flirt
Okay, so you're
like
not going to
that.
flirt.
Only if I am in like already tipsy.
That's fair. No, you got to get a little boost of confidence before you go into it. For
It's not
sure.
it's not confidence. It's just I don't give a shit. I just want my drink. That's your job. You should do that, regardless of me trying to get your attention or not.
But there is a whole huge line, and all these people are taller than you.
Well, okay, going back to my original point, I actually felt really tall yesterday at the bar to the point that I realized, oh my god, I am actually tall here. That's great. Because I was more or less like on the level of most of the men in the
Yeah.
room. I was wearing
Shocking.
high heel shoes, but they were like 6-7 centimeters, not much.
Oh,
So
interesting. You
I
gotta come to the
felt
US. People are
I
taller. We
felt
also like in
empowered.
Amsterdam. Oh my
Oh
god.
no,
people are-
no. I had my fair share of living in the
Oh
Netherlands.
my god. I mean, my friend and I landed there a couple of weeks ago. We're like literally the moment we get off, not even the plane, like the train station, fine. We're like, oh my god, everyone is so tall.
And that's still Amsterdam. It's very international. But if you
It's
actually go
true.
to like very very
Deep roots
Dutch
of
cities,
Netherlands. Yeah.
oh my god! Like
It's
I
true.
think the memory that kind of stick to my mind was
Yeah.
I did my undergrad in the Netherlands, and we had tutors that helped us to basically go through the study material.
Mhm.
And every week we would have a session with them. And one of they were of course Dutch, except one, and
Mhm.
very tall. And one of them was so tall, and I'm not that small. I'm like 162, so
Yeah.
centimeters. I'm not kidding you. He was sitting, and he was the same height as
Wow.
me, standing next to him. Can you imagine how I felt when he actually stood up? I was
That's
like,
wild.
yeah, very uncomfortable.
That's crazy. Goodness. But yeah, let's go back to it. But like using, I guess in this case, it is like your sexuality to get what you want. But I think, yeah, the conclusion we can make there is like you can still use tools at your disposal to do like get your way.
Yeah,
It just like women use ones and you men use another
I
skill
did.
set.
I did ask one of my male friends about this
Oh, okay.
because research for the episode is
Got.
always
I mean,
important.
primary research is very important.
And I asked him, I forgot exactly how I phrased it. But basically, I was interested in if he thinks that women should be allowed to use their, I don't know, beauty, femininity, charisma, sexuality, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I'm actually going to the next question, but it's kind
Okay.
of connected to
Always.
a nice prefix. To get further in their career, so within professional setting.
Ooh.
And he said something very similar to what you just said. Like whatever you have in like your disposal, you should use it. And I'm not gonna judge you for that because I would more or less do the same. But then I asked him two follow-up questions. First, do you think that who judges more, men or women? Like to what extent actually men, think about this?
It's more
And
subconscious for sure.
And we both agreed. So I think it's more women talk about this and like kind of think about how inappropriate versus appropriate that is. He confirmed that. Second question was how much that changes perception of men towards women that they know about using these techniques to get further in their career and whether that, affects their perception.
Ooh.
What do you think?
I think that's what my answer. I was like, as long as it's ethical, I think to me that's a little bit borderline unethical, right? Because
I mean, we haven't defined what we actually mean by this. I mean,
well, it's kind of a personal moral compass, isn't it?
Yeah, which is very much what Carrie is trying to understand about herself in the episode. But I think it can be from like flirting, which is really friendly, to full-time like sleeping with someone just to get a promotion. I think there's like a huge difference.
Yeah, and I agree because like it's also, well, I mean, the episode's slightly different. I think this is where this gets a little hazy, but the episode I think is actually like is a bit of a misunderstanding, right? Because to her, actually, I think she just genuinely went on a date with this guy, genuinely enjoyed learning about him, wanted to spend time with him, even though it was going to be a very short-lived weekend fling, or I think it was like there's a week in between or something. I don't know. But then for her, it was very surprising that he like ended up paying her for it. Like it was almost like insulting, I think, to her. But like they never agreed on anything because like her friend.
I think there's like a slight, tweak to that. So there is definitely, they discuss what I kind of prefix with like within professional environment. I think this was more Charlotte. She was like, should I do that to like get my way? But then with Carrie, I think there is a very, very possible chance that this friend of her, which I keep forgetting names.
Isn't it like Amalita? Yeah.
She basically, they meet at the beginning of the episode and Carrie tells her, I'm struggling with money. What I was thinking also is maybe Amalita on purpose matched her with the guy.
She set her up for sure, but I think the guy knew about it, but like Carrie did not perceive it that way. She literally thought she met a guy.
Yeah, exactly. But I think like they were kind of like she wanted to help her in that sense, and I don't think it was necessarily that she's perceived to be an escort in any way. It was more like, oh, there is a friend of mine and she needs money. Are you kind of okay paying for his times? I don't know how to say.
Yeah, I don't know if it was that like formally official, but
it doesn't have to be. But it also felt like when Amalita was around her friends, they were kind of all vibing on this level of there are no clear borders.
Yeah, it's very casual. Like, let's all just have fun.
Yeah, but let's just go to Venice and like have fun and go to like different mansions and dating every week, different guy and just live my life.
Yeah. But I still even think like even with Charlotte, it's slightly different because she kind of did it almost, I think, for herself because like it's not that she was doing it to get a promotion. I think it was more that like she was honored to spend time with this like renowned artist. It took her by
Mm.
surprise that he offered to paint her. And then but it was still very anonymous. Like no one, I think, at her work knew that she was part of the exhibit. Let's say it that way. But I think like if we are going back to the topic of like, would you like use your sexuality to get ahead at work? And I think that's like where I think it like crosses the ethical boundary, at least for my moral compass personally. Like I just wouldn't do that. Um, Even though we see so many like movies about it and everything else, and it's kind of I think that idea is romanticized, but I don't know. I think like those kinds of things really, and maybe it's because I'm a believer in karma, but like they come back to you. And it's also like, would you really want to like hinder your reputation in
Mm.
such a way? And so like this is the same reason that like I keep everything very professional at work. There's never like a clear like I personally actually would choose not to date anyone at work just because I think it makes it extremely uncomfortable and like hard to navigate and the corporate scene is already hard to navigate. So I do know of a lot of like successful couples that do end up together and a lot of them actually end up working like in different departments and that's why
I
it
was gonna
works.
say that. Like, I think work is probably one of the top places to meet your future partner. If it's not the uni,
Yeah.
it's gonna be the work. So,
Yeah, I
but that's
guess.
slightly different. Like the chances. I mean, I do know one couple that actually are together, and she was an intern, and he was the boss.
Oh God, that okay, that's where it gets messy. Like I understand if it's like you're relatively on the same level or you're like in different departments on the same level, but if there's that power dynamic, to me that seems like oh, so messy.
I think you need to really look at it on like case to case basis
True, 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 true. I agree.
because I mean, I have never done something like that. I also work in very small teams so far, so I don't want to have drama in my work environment. I
Exactly.
think there is enough drama without this additional.
Totally. A lot of politics
Twist.
in the office already.
Yeah, but I definitely have to say that it's like what you do with bartender. I would probably do at work. As of, give me like let me explain. When you know there is a I wouldn't even say attraction necessarily, but like, let's say that you understand the dynamics, right?
That person has a soft spot for you, and so you're just gonna use it.
No, okay, yeah, that's a good way. They have a soft spot for you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like actually like sexual. It can just be
Yeah.
platonic,
They like you. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or it also happened to me that I think I got really along with one of my colleagues in one of my jobs who was very, very, very much senior to me. I think he could literally be my grandpa. But we
Oh
built
my
this
God.
kind of okay, and that's why I'm saying let me continue. We built
Yeah.
this kind of relationship where it almost felt like that paternal figure, and like
Mm-hmm.
I felt he really is trying to help me to go through.
Like a role model almost, right?
Maybe more like a mentor or like
Okay.
sponsor. So like because they like you naturally, and it can be a combination of visual and mental.
Yeah, yeah.
They will like you will be more appealing to them, and they will be more likely to help you. And I think like my observation is that this only happens between female girls. Oh my god, female and males.
Yeah.
Um, and there is always this tweak, which is like visual and how you look and that you are young, and then between men and men. So like men would help the younger ones if they kind of click more on like the body
Yeah.
level. I don't see much of a older senior women helping junior women, or at least not in my experience. And I really tried my best, but so far it only was coming from male
Interesting. I think
male
I've only had like
perspective. Yeah.
one female mentor, and we were matched as like a mentor and mentee by my university in undergrad. And
Mm.
she was like the only person that I think that, and we didn't have that much of an age difference. I think it was like 4 or 5 years, but she saw, I think, a younger like version of herself in me, and that's like, but we came like more of a like little sister big sister dynamic, and I think in that like case it works, but I think I do agree that it's quite rare.
But she was relatively young in her career as well.
Yeah, totally. Like, but I mean, I was in like my first or second year of university, so the fact that she was just starting out also kind of paved a path for me to understand of like how do you transition from university to like the workforce. And I think that was like the intention of that relationship there, which was perfect. Um, because again, and it's not like a long term like career mentor, because obviously like we ended up going separate paths because she's working in marketing, I work in like product and tech now. Um, but still, like I think for that transition period, for that time, it like worked out well. But I agree for like the longer term ones, maybe that, yeah, like, that's an interesting point. I've not really thought about that before.
Think about it, because I do feel, and it might be partially just because women just will take on the caretaker role and they just don't have capacity for that at some point. But I
Yeah.
did notice that when I was trying to build this type of connection with senior women, they were not really responsive.
Yeah.
And or not interested. It felt like, yeah, almost like they don't want to do that for different reasons. And with men, it was always kind of like naturally would come. I would always click with someone, and that person would be pivotal in a lot of moments in my work. Then it would be
Yeah.
almost like helping me with some aspects that I would struggle with, which I think is normal.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I don't know. This was something that I actually wanted to test in reality, and I asked a couple of people about that, especially girls and
Right.
young females, and so far it's been confirmed. I don't know. I am kind of blaming it on the aspect of you need to work harder if you are a woman and want to have a career, or like have children and have a career, or at
Yeah.
some point you just become very cold if you want to climb the ladder, and maybe you even see that as competition. I have no clue.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is because again, I come from like a pretty again, just like you, Eastern European background. So my dad and I even were talking about it like because I used to go to a lot of like the women in tech in London conversations, and they were always talking about like making it in a man's world because again, the tech world's very predominantly male. And I used to like joke with my dad about it. Because like a lot of my friends are like, "Do you find that to be a disadvantage? Like, are you finding it harder at work? Like, do you face a lot of misogyny?" I personally haven't. Again, I've been very lucky with my experience. Like, I worked in amazing companies with amazing people, and I don't think like my coworkers treat me any differently because I'm a woman. But my dad used to joke of like, well, male dominant worlds are so great for women. You can find a husband easily. It's like there's so many options. I was like, Dad.
And that's true. And that's so true. I mean, it's true. Like, there are basic needs that everyone will at some point do.
Yeah.
Yesterday on the tube, when we were moving from one location to another, one of my colleagues told me, and I don't think he meant it badly, but that's where we kind of got after a couple of drinks. That
Oh,
in his
gosh.
opinion,
I'm scared.
that like women look for a partner, then they look for getting married, and then they look to like have a child and protect that child, like
Okay.
biologically speaking.
Okay. What's wrong with that?
Nothing, but I was
I mean,
like,
I think
what
like
is
women with a
what is
maternal
the
instinct. Yeah,
what is
sure.
what is the space of, I want to make it in this world? Like, you kind of looked only on I want to reproduce and then protect whatever I made.
I mean, I don't think they're mutually exclusive. It's
They're not,
like
but at some point you need to make a choice, I think.
no, for sure. There are compromise, and I'm sure we brought this up in the previous episodes as well. It's like men have it easier in the sense they can have it all in the career and the child because they have a partner that will support them in that and will make sacrifices for them. But I mean, like at the same time, yeah, it takes a lot more thinking and like logistics, I think, for women to figure that out. And also like syncing in with their biological clock. Cause like for sometimes you like I don't know,
And
have like
you
reproductive
are young and
issues. And
beautiful just once in your life, so you need to
that's true too.
you
Yeah.
need to
But
use
then you're
that.
like, how do I use my beauty to get ahead?
Exactly. Exactly.
um,
Let's open that discussion. That's useful to our listeners.
well, that goes back to the other, like, we brought this topic up before. It's like
The beauty.
beautiful people easily get ahead in the world. And it's
Yeah.
a simple subconscious thing. And I mean, I don't think it's rightfully true, but I think it's true. It's not justified. Prettier people have easier lives, and that's why like people who are more charismatic, more charming, more like flirty, um people are just more receptive to that, I think, and
Yeah.
regardless of the context. And yeah, unfortunately in the work context that's also true.
It's something I don't think we can control it. It is biological.
Yeah. And it's also like people would rather work with like, yeah, charming, more positive people rather than people who are just like unfortunately introverted and quiet and like come off as grumpy sometimes.
I
Hey,
have
like
hard time. You describe a lot of a lot of traits that I think I have in work. I'm like perfect.
no, but I think it's true that like obviously I've gotten by so far in my career on my merit. Again, I put in a lot of hard work into studying, into like getting internship experience and all this stuff, but I do think that I can't credit all of that just to the fact that like I
What do
tried
you
work
think?
hard.
What do you think
I
is
know
the second biggest
it's
aspect?
true. Some of the feedback that I've gotten in the professional space is just like my positivity and my positive outlook and the energy that I bring to the team, like the team. And I was like, am I a personality hire?
I think you're both. You're like everything in one, you know?
But that's what I feel like, because I am predisposed for that kind of like I've always been that like child that's always been like happy and smiley, and like thanks for my parents to have like a great upbringing to allow me to be that way. I agree. It's not like purely just because I'm the way I am, but people who are less like that, like I think it's an unfair disadvantage.
I think like I definitely am not that. I don't think I ever can be personality higher in my life. I'm just not
You do have a
bubbly.
great personality though. You're just like you have to get to know you.
Exactly. But you know, like I know that. I think I have different other traits that I observe.
100%.
But you know, for some reason, I think I'm very much black cat energy because
So
honestly, it's just everyone is accusing me of being a Russian spy at my work.
I mean, hey, all you Eastern Europeans get that vibe. I'm so sorry, but we're cursed with it. But I mean, that's not a bad thing. It's like some people really do like that. It's like you're more mysterious. There's more depth to you. There's like it takes longer to figure out. Again, it's more of a mystery that you want to unfold. Um, so to them, like I think the fact that you're not like off the bat, like very surface level, just like open and
Yeah, I
absolutely amazing, which you are, but like
probably should get some American vibes into my personality.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's not my fault.
I I think it helps though. Definitely.
I guess. But some people get annoyed by it. People are just like,
Really?
can you please just shut up? And like,
Wait, did I ever tell you that?
no, not me specifically, but there is like that stereotype of like in England that Americans are always very loud, very laughing, like say, like talk too much. Like people get annoyed by that sometimes. Sometimes in
So
Eastern Europe too. Like,
so the perfect blend of this is to have Eastern European girl that will go to America for some time and then blend these two worlds together. That is the perfect recipe for a bubbly personality that is not too much. If someone is thinking about that for future of
oh
their
my
kids.
god. Thanks, but I don't think that's really true. No, like I don't know. There's
I'm not
also
drinking.
like
I'm not drinking. Okay, it's just
you know, in Russia sometimes we put vodka in our tea.
yeah. I know. We either put rum or a Slovak specific
Oh,
alcohol called Tatra tea
oh
that
nice.
spans from I think 12% up to 82%.
Oh my god. It's like absinthe
And
at that point.
exactly, you,
That's
you can choose
crazy.
you can choose your percentage.
Got it. Got it.
Sorry,
That's
we are
crazy.
kind of moving away.
Yeah, but I mean, we're kind of like circling back to the idea of like trading sex for power, that whole dynamic. And I mean, what do you think among the characters, like whose take is on what? Because
Well, I think again, I am gonna quote Samantha because I think Samantha has some
always
great
iconic.
quotes. Yeah, but in this episode specifically, she says, um, I'm just laughing at reading it. Men and women are equal opportunity exploiters. And then she said, yes, it is exploitation, but of men, so it's perfectly legal. I find that
They do it of women, so I agree with Samantha here.
exactly. I think
What you gonna do?
everyone is exploiting on whatever they can. So I would say you do you. If that's what works for you and it fits your morals, go with it. I'm
Yeah, as
not
long
gonna
as you can deal with the
judge.
consequences. Who are we to
Exactly.
judge?
Exactly. Some women do this for actual profession, and maybe they're probably making more money than me.
We don't know that. I mean,
I think so.
there were articles on like how Carrie's financial situation doesn't add up to her lifestyle. There are so many articles on this. I'm sure we could do a separate
That's true.
episode on this alone. We could do like a featured one of like, can we do the math?
No, I mean, I was not talking about Carrie. I was talking about women who do this actually as a profession. I think they are probably making more money than me. But,
It's a different kind
that's
of
what
work.
works. Exactly. It works for them. I don't think I could completely do that.
Yeah.
From a moral perspective, and also I just spend so much money on my masters that I would be stupid.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But yeah, what do you think? So we have Samantha, who is very much like you do you, and then we have Miranda, who really hates that.
Yeah, but I think that's so definitive of their personalities. It's like Miranda is a lawyer. She's like within the law. She's like, that seems illegal. Like that shouldn't be allowed. Ethically and morally and everything else. But like it's kind of funny because Miranda does kind of hold power over like Skipper as well. It's kind of interesting.
Oh yeah.
So it's a little hypocritical. But it's not for money.
She's not aware of it to the extent that he's struggling with that, which we can really see in the episode, because there is a moment where he says he doesn't wash the hands after spending
That was
a
insane.
night with
a young man in love.
And the question is, I mean, is this man specific, or is this just how much you can get addicted to a person? And how much
I think it's true. And I think it's like he, again, going to the Black Cat Golden Retriever situation, he's definitely like chasing after Miranda because, and I think like the scraps and absolute like crumbs that she feeds him, and he just can't get enough of it. And the fact that she does like, it's kind of like an addiction, again, going back to like our previous episodes, but like, she's giving him so little, and the less and less she gives him, the more and more he wants it. And so like it's interesting in that sense.
I think this is the ultimate takeaway.
Yeah.
You give a little, so you receive more.
It just seems so like, but if you think about that logically, you're like, if you want to be the person and if you want to be with the person, like shouldn't it just come naturally, and you shouldn't have to think about of like, oh, I'm going to give them less so they're more interested in me?
I don't think if you think about it, it's good. I think it
just works that way.
A natural dynamics that will either work or not. I think the moment you start to think about how I'm going to appeal to this person, it's already wrong. Because I also, probably whatever works for me will not work for you. And also we are attracted to different type of people. So I might be looking for slightly different opening than you are. And
no, that's fair.
A person next to us is. So I would say, like, you should have fun. If you don't have fun, I think it's doomed.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, so that kind of goes to my other question I have, and
Let's
that
hear it.
is, how
Yep.
important is it to have charm, and do we find men without charm unattractive by default?
Such a hard question. I hate to answer it depends, but like it's really what you find attractive. And like because I think what I might perceive as charming, you're like, oh
Okay,
no.
let's simplify. We both
Okay.
agree that the guy that carries seeing the architect is very charming, right?
Sure.
So let's base that as a default.
Okay.
I
Okay.
also read some definitions, and I like this thing that I found, which describes what charm is. It's kind of an ease that makes people comfortable and allows them to open up to you quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And oozes this kind of confidence that says he or she wants to talk to you, but they are not putting you on a pedestal and kind of making you feel like you are their only option.
That's a good way to put it. I'd also say it's like it's a level of cleverness that like catches your attention and makes you think, but that's maybe just my own biases of like,
Mm-mm.
and I think we both have that to a degree. It's like we find people attractive as long as they're interesting, usually on an intellectual level, usually but sometimes not. But yeah, it's definitely someone that catches your attention based on the things that they say, how they say it, their behaviors, and then you find that charming and charismatic.
They think you can learn it.
I personally don't. I don't think so.
No?
No. It'd be very hard. If you find any
What about?
classes, sign me up.
Oh, I mean, I would love to do that. Although I think it's more important for men than for women. I do think that men need to use charm to attract more than and women. I think for
Yeah.
women it's more like whatever you, how you put yourself out there. So like
Right.
visually, if you put effort into it, it kind of helps halfway through your achievements. Um, so I didn't build my charisma that much.
I mean, I didn't know that was like a thing you're supposed to develop, but hey, I guess
But
I missed out on that part of development.
I do think that you can kind of build it with the older and more confident you become in yourself, the more confident you are also around other people. And
Yeah.
that I think charisma is, or charm is to some extent also just the confidence in yourself. And that can be, if you have seen that people react well to you, you will more likely be in this mindset that whatever I'm going to say or do, they're probably going to like me because
Yeah.
naturally I'm good at it. Same goes for jobs, right? Like if you naturally are good in something, you feel more confident, and that probably feeds also why you are more successful.
Yeah. I think it's also the ability to read people and like what will kind of reflect with them, like what they would expect you or not expect you to say. So it's like that element of surprise as well. So sometimes you're like, I don't know, some of the most charming things that like guys have said, and again, this was like a guy that was very basic, like example of I'm at a bar
Did you just
and
say a guy was very basic?
no, I'm telling you, like for DC, he was like a regular military dude with a buzz cut and nothing special.
I think that's
I'm
the worst
standing,
thing you want to be
but that's why
described.
they have to be charming.
Right.
So like exactly, and that's like, and it seems like maybe it can't be like taught, but it can be learned over time. Is that you find that like here's how you act to hook or get someone interested, even though you like your appearance or the way you like maybe stand on its own doesn't do the trick. Um, but in this case, it's like it was, I guess, a pickup line in a way, but it was also just extremely charming and very simple. Like I was
What
standing at a
did you do?
bar, I ordered a drink, and he didn't apparently hear it, but he stood next to me. He's like, "What did you order?" And I was like, "Oh, I got seltzers." And he was like, "Oh, if it was shots, like I would have gotten it with you." And I was like, and I was bouncing back off it, and I was like, "Well, maybe next round." And he's like, "All right, well, you know where to find me." And I was like, "Okay."
But do you think that was actually a pickup line, or that was just uh, genuinely he just vibed and he was in a mood?
You don't know, but like again, going back to that idea of like men and women, I think there is always, at least when you first meet each other, there's like a preconceived notion that there's like some element of attraction or some like idea of like, oh yeah, kind of like there could be some attraction, and then I think that's when it fizzles out and you figure out whether it's like just a platonic thing or um it could actually be something. So I mean,
I prepared for this. You're gonna love this.
oh,
So
okay, let's do it.
I have, there's this guy on social media, which I don't actually know how much.
Is it home math again?
It's not Homas, but
It's a different guy.
It's one of these influencers that pops up in your For You page when you're searching for specific topics. I don't think, like.
Is this Andrew Tate?
No, his name is Matthew Hussey. I don't know how to read it. If
Not
you
heard of
would
him.
see his face, probably you would recognize him because he would pop up. He talks about dating and relationships and all this stuff. And it's kind of like Jay Shetty, but more for like relationships.
Okay.
Anyway, that's not important. What is important is, for my fourth question, I was doing some research on social media, and he named these 4 stages of finding the right partner,
Oh dear.
or like understanding whether this is worth to continue exploring or not. And he said the first level is attraction. So you are attracted to someone, right? Then second level is there is mutual attraction between you two. And that's usually where like a lot of people get stuck and they start to create these fantasies because they can see that there's mutual attraction. And then, often it would happen that they would just get ghosted, or suddenly like they felt there was connection and then
fizzle out.
a few days later, bye. And he said that's because the third and fourth are like, you're just on level 2, but you need to actually get to the fourth level in order to really feel invested in whoever is giving you this feeling. So, what is level 3? Guess.
I'm scared. What is it? Values. I don't know.
No, it's commitment. So even if you have mutual attraction, but the person doesn't want to commit, it doesn't make sense to go further. And I think like that makes sense.
I mean, kind of. Yeah, I guess it's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah. And then he said, okay, if you have all these 3, the 4th level is compatibility.
Wait. So compatibility is after commitment? I think it should be before. Why would you want to commit to someone you're not compatible with?
Okay, so it's more like, is this person attractive? Are we mutually attracted to each other?
Yes.
Does this person want to commit? And then, are we compatible? I do see your point, but also, if you find someone attractive and compatible, but they don't want to commit, it's kind of doomed as well, because it's useless to continue.
Yeah, I would maybe put them on the same level, though. I don't know if it's like that chronological.
Well, I think it depends per people, like per individuals. I definitely would look at general compatibility if I'm dating someone and just trying to assess whether it's worth pursuing or not.
I mean, also, if you're like not compatible, I feel like they're less attractive to you, no?
Exactly. I think it's kind of together. But I do believe that the commitment part is rather big. It happened to me that when I finally felt that I found someone that kind of matches my energy and we are somehow compatible, though just the commitment part either wasn't there or we were not aligned. And that sucks.
Unfortunate. Yeah. And sometimes it's a matter of timing as well. Like, I've met the right people at the wrong time. And again, there was nothing wrong with it. But it was just not going to work because the timing didn't work.
Yeah, so basically 4 levels. It's not
4
only about
levels.
attraction, it's about
Yeah.
making it
Interesting.
right.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that kind of brings me to my last question, unless you want
Okay.
to
I might have a couple more. I
discuss.
don't know after. I don't know. I have some hot
Um,
takes I want to ask you about.
oh, you
I
wanna
mean,
do
mostly
you
from
wanna
Samantha.
okay. Do you wanna go with it now?
Sure. I mean, just like the whole like part of it that caused an argument between the ladies is the concept that Samantha said that like men give and women receive.
Oh yeah.
That on its own.
I have the quotes at the end of my document.
I just like
And she said it's a biological destiny. You forgot that.
yeah, and I had to like sit with that for a moment and I was like, is that true? Like what do you think?
Hmm. So, putting my analytical glasses.
Oh,
Um,
she glasses not hats. Wow.
yeah, I think that this is very much Samantha perspective
Uh-huh.
because she is not looking for anything long-term love-based relationship. So from her perspective, it totally makes sense. But I do think there are like different stages of relationship for women, or how I would approach it. At the
Hmm.
beginning is very much I align with Samantha. I think you kind of need to receive effort and attention from a man to really kind of get the confirmation that it makes sense. I think if there is not that, it usually doesn't work because, yeah, from my experience, unless men are really interested in you and they show you this interest, it's probably not gonna work because they are not that interested in you. So I
But it
would
goes both
say,
ways, no?
yeah, no, let me finish. So I would
Okay.
say I'm not gonna really be like putting more effort at like very, very early stages just because I want to see like how serious they are or like how much they actually are willing to invest. The moment I see there is some kind of effort, I very much so respond with the same effort. And then once you build a
Hmm.
connection, I think women generally like to give and take care. But you should probably test first waters
Yeah.
and assure yourself that it's the right person to give. So once you pass that
Are
level,
they worthy?
exactly. No, it's true. Like, are they worthy of all this like
Yeah.
extra support and care or whatever? It means different things for different people. But I think this testing first phase, you should be kind of careful about that. And then once you feel, okay, it makes sense. I think that both give, and it kind of you need to be giving and receiving both on more or less equal level. Maybe there's sometimes when one person will be giving more than the other because they're having a hard period of time, but then it will switch.
Hmm.
But that's once the relationship is established. At the beginning, I'm very traditional and I do believe that it kind of works this way.
Yeah. I was also just surprised that like Samantha said this because it kind of almost gives like the idea of men have the upper hand. That was very not Samantha like her. So
Good point. That's a
yeah, I
very
was
good
kind of a
point.
little surprised by it. Um,
That's more like Charlotte.
yeah, you know, so that was an interesting one. But
What do you think?
I mean, I think it also is, yeah, to a degree, it also depends on like what kind of relationship it is and like I guess who initially, and I hate the idea of having an upper hand, but I think like in every relationship at different points in time, one or the other will have like an upper hand and be like the leading character.
Mm.
Um, though I've seen that dynamic switch like in different parts of the relationship too. Because I think again there's mutual attraction, but like based on either levels of commitment or compatibility or your perceived compatibility, one person might give up and then the other one's like, whoa, 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 where'd you go? And then like that power shift changes. So
I think it's also important that the shift change in the relationship when you're in a long-term relationship, because otherwise, I don't think it leads to good outcomes if one person is always in the more upper or
Yeah.
dominant role and the other one is more in the supportive role.
Yeah.
And I have seen that in like around me with um, women that are older and let's say they are in a relationship for 20 plus years or marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I have quite open discussions with my aunt about this, and it's kind of, you can see very sad examples where women, if they are maybe let's say a little bit more sensitive or emotional or empathetic, and then they have very dominant partner and they have
Mm-hmm.
been in this setup for a very long time, it almost feels like they are afraid to be on their own, and they just
Yeah.
always kind of expect this dynamic or this
Codependence almost like, yeah.
power relationship, that I'm not gonna really be the dominant one and I will leave the other partner to do that, or like decide how we're gonna what restaurant we go, or like how we plan the trip, because they would always
Yeah.
take the lead. I mean, it can be also the other way around. Like, it doesn't have to be that men are in this position and women are the less dominant, but that's mostly what I've seen. And I think it's a shame because, yeah, you kind of lose your self-identity a little bit, or who you are as a self without any other person
Right.
around you.
For sure.
Very, very deep. I'm sorry. I'm studying.
No, I loved it. That was really good. It's very thought-provoking.
It is
um,
not much fun.
yeah,
This is very serious podcast. Even
it's
though
very
I
serious.
did not expect it based on the name.
Yeah, I think it's all fun and
Maybe
games.
that's because we are not. You don't want to talk much about the actual relationships.
Harsh. Another like fun question I had. So like since Charlotte,
No, you didn't just like completely ignore what I said.
hey, I gotta keep people's privacy private.
Yeah, we can cut this out.
No, it's all good. We'll keep it in. um. Anyway, yeah, the other question I had was like, since Charlotte got painted, and I'm not saying like it has to be the same format of painting, but like I used to go to, and I'm like kind of into art, right? I'm not really good at drawing, but I enjoy it. But I used to go to live painting classes and like or live drawing
Okay.
classes where basically you do get a model. Sometimes they're nude, sometimes they're not, and you just sit and paint them. Would you ever model to be painted?
Of course.
Oh,
It's fun.
interesting. Okay. I didn't think that question was going to be so easy.
I did.
Signing you up.
Please. I am short
Wow.
on money in London always.
We should have suggested it to Carrie. Instead of like being an escort, she could have been painted.
Well, it's art. No, I mean, I did that in Lisbon. I went for this draw and drink class. I was not modeling.
Uh-huh.
I was not a model. I was
I was hoping you'd
one
not
of
be
the
modeling.
participants. But the model was naked. She was, I think she maybe was wearing some kind of textile, but it was see-through. And then
Yeah.
she would be changing positions every couple of minutes. But honestly, like, I don't think it had any sexual undertone. It was very artistic.
Safe space.
And exactly. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't think so either. I mean, just
Would you it feels like you might think about it a little bit more.
I think if it was a room full of strangers, I'd do it. I think I'd be a little too self-conscious if it was like people that I knew.
You just
I'll
need
put
to
it that
get
way.
drunk. Of course. I don't want to be modeling for people I know.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But like, if it's a room full of strangers, no, because like the first time I went, it was like a bit of well, first of all, I didn't know it was going to be happening. I thought I was showing up to a life drawing class, and I didn't really know what life drawing meant. I was like a sweet kid in university, like to draw. And I showed up, and I was like, "Oh, this is happening." I was like, "All right, it's going to take a second to adjust," but I was like, "All right." And so in that sense, like, yeah, again, I think I did for a room full of strangers, but not people that I know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always harder to do anything in front of people that you know, whatever
Yeah.
type of
Gotta keep up your street
performance.
cred, you know?
Yeah, But I mean, depends also how much money I would get.
How much would you like to be paid for it? If you could just name a number.
I don't think they're paid much, to be
I
honest.
don't think so either. But
It's like,
what would be your number?
okay, I mean, I think that's also we see that what Carrie's daily rate was in this episode, which is apparently
I think it was
$1,000.
$1,000. Yeah.
I
Not
would
bad.
I would not reject $1,000 for sure. I don't think
Pay
that
some of the rent.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, I don't know. Well, how much money? Honestly, I would just do it for the sake of experience. And maybe like 200 euros.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, but if it was like young Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic, because paint me like one of your French girls,
Wait,
would you
like
do it
I
for
would,
free? Because remember in the Titanic, like Rose,
I would be modeling with him, or he would be drawing me, or
he'd be drawing you.
Oh, so spoiler.
But you're like young Leo.
I have never seen Titanic fully.
Oh my God. You have homework now. I'm sorry to give you homework, but you need to see
I'm
it.
sorry, but it's too much for me. It's too much. I can't watch that. It's too intense.
I mean, Rose survives.
Not from that perspective. It's just too romantic.
Too much action.
Intense.
Really?
Yeah.
And Sex and the City isn't?
No, this is light.
This is light. Okay, what about like The Notebook? I know we're going like very much off tangent here, but like
no, I think I've seen The Notebook. I can't remember much. I have a slight problem with remembering movies. I think I liked it more than Titanic.
Okay.
Because there was depth in the relationship.
Okay. I mean, it was also like very different. Like you saw their relationship evolve over time, whereas like in the Titanic, it's obviously like they're just teenagers running around kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So young love.
It's giving very much like American movies vibe, and I don't like it because a lot of things it is based on a true story to some extent, but also
there was a ship.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. But you can also see that it's, this typical American plot that you can kind of predict.
Every rom-com.
Exactly. And I'm kind of bored of that. So maybe that's more of the reason. But anyway, where were we?
I mean, I just asked you if you would be painted like Charlotte, but
right.
It sounds like you are.
What would be your rate?
My rate. 2,000 pounds. I don't know, it's a random number, but why not?
That's so cheap.
I just had like an extra zero on there.
Yeah, small minor detail.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a wild experience though. So
I think it's fun.
We'll keep the listeners posted if we actually end up modeling for a live drawing class.
I'm giving you now a promise.
Ooh.
That I will convince Elizabeth to be a model.
That's not the kind of commitment I thought you were going to be making.
I know. Always there for plot twist. Always.
Oh my God. Anyway. We've got time. We've got a few episodes to go through, like a few seasons. So
maybe like season 6.
Oh, for context, also Suzanne and I go on vacation together once a year with our friend group, so we'll be catching up.
But I don't think that I would like you to model in front of people that you know.
No, oh God, no. That would be so bad.
This is like changing really fast to a direction we should not go. So let's go back to the original discussion of this episode.
Yes, please. What are the rest of your questions?
Yeah, I have one more question. I'm aware that we are going for quite some time now.
We'll be fine. I'm sure some people are still hanging on.
Yeah, but let's just we just chat about stuff. No structure really. But there is one more thing which kind of stood up in this episode to me, and I think it's a fun topic to discuss: dating rules. So, if you remember, Carrie says that she has this rule that she doesn't sleep with men that she only knows for a day, which I don't think she follows through in the episode.
Yeah,
But-
and I feel like are there other instances where she's done that? There are
don't
guys
know.
that she's known for 2 days, like the guy that the 20-something guy. She's known him for 2 days.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if she really follows that rule.
She's very contradictory, but also
Well, maybe it's just like a rule to say it's a rule. Okay, I hate to say this, but it's like a rule that she tells guys, being like, "Oh, no," but that she doesn't really follow it. So maybe
No,
it
but
really is context specific.
I have done that before.
Okay.
I okay. Let's start with me asking you: do you actually have some dating rules that you stick?
I
with?
typically do. Yeah.
You typically do. What's not typical?
Well, there was that week in London. um, we're not going to go into further than detail than that.
You have to pay us to reveal that content.
Well, we'll set up a Patreon. And it's only if you join the Patreon.
Yeah, we haven't released an episode yet, but we're gonna set up a Patreon already.
For the really juicy takes. Anyways, so yeah, I was saying, like, yeah, typically I would say I have dating guidelines and principles.
Okay, let's hear them.
No, it's just like, yeah, I usually like, and I think I've mentioned this before, is like, if I meet a person, cool, we find each other mutually attractive, but I'm a bit of a slow burn in the sense, like, if I actually do want to like see where it's going, like, I want to become friends first. Like, you basically have to become my best friend. But like, do those rules sometimes go out of the window? Maybe sometimes they do. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, but like, so usually I am quite traditional in that sense. Though,
So
like,
does it mean that if you don't want to befriend the person, you are not serious with them?
yeah, pretty much. Like,
mean,
if I don't think where we get along on that
honestly,
basic level,
it's all we need.
yeah, honestly. So other dating rules, because I feel like typically people have like, oh, like you have to wait so long to call, like for him to call or for him to like reach out and make plans. I don't know. I'm kind of like, especially if we're just getting to know each other, I'm perfectly fine like reaching out and saying like, hey, do you want to grab coffee? Do you want to go like do this, do that? Like very small casual things just to get to know each other and see if there's potential there. Then there's usually the rule of like who has to pay, that kind of thing. And I'm pretty Eastern European, but at the same time, I'm just like, I don't really care if we split it. Like sometimes
Honestly,
like
you're just feeding me. You're just literally feeding me. So,
I'm sorry. Oh, okay, I'll get your take because I feel it's gonna be very different.
No. Like, the guy I mentioned previously
Yes.
about this 4 levels. I just then like went, on a little bit of like TikTok scrolling through his profile.
Research.
Yes, you can call it that. That sounds better. And he said this thing for like first day. If you don't offer to pay as a woman, you were not taught right. If he doesn't pay, he wasn't taught right.
So you're meant to casually pull out your wallet, act like you're gonna pay.
You're meant to ask or offer to
That's so
pay.
awkward. My goodness.
And I want to know what you think about that, because I'm not sure if I fully agree with that.
I don't know. Like, there's also times that I'm just like, sometimes I pay. There was once that like the guy that I dated for like a year, I think on our first date, I didn't even clock that it was a date, paid for my own coffee, walked off, like as if it was a normal
Oh my
thing
god, this reminds me as like a story that I have to tell.
Yes, please do.
So I think I'm very observant, and then I'm also not, because sometimes my naivety takes over me.
Okay.
And there was when I was doing my undergrad, there was a person who, for the sake of this discussion, let's say he was working at the university and was older, maybe like a few years older than me. And
painting the picture. Go ahead.
yes, and he asked me to go for ice cream, and I
Interesting choice.
not understand at all like what's happening. I was like, oh, cool,
just ice cream.
This guy who is randomly working for the university and where I'm studying asked me to go for coffee. Ice cream.
Ice cream.
So I'm kind of like didn't think about it too much. He was like, I would like to visit Slovakia and maybe you can give me some tips. I was like, sure, let's do that. And then as I'm waiting for him to finish work and go for this ice cream in front of university, I'm starting to sense like, maybe this is not only about ice cream.
And not just Slovakia.
It feels a little bit, maybe
the vibe is off.
Yeah, but then I was like, okay, whatever, and then we would go for ice cream. I would like talk to him, all was fun, good, whatever. And then there was a moment he needed to go to the bathroom, and we were like in the park, and that was, let's say, 20 minutes away from my home. And he was like, oh, can I just go to your place?
Bold. Wow. Bold.
And I was like, I don't know. I don't think I'm completely understanding what's happening here. He did go, nothing happened, but then obviously, a few more times we met, and eventually I understood what the interest was, but I was not seeing that coming. Like, honestly, my naivety was stronger than my
ice cream
sense.
Yeah. Ice cream's not part of the dating rules, I guess.
or I was just, too young to make a connection.
Yeah. Less experienced, That makes sense. But what are your dating rules?
So, I would say I do think that sleeping on the first date is a no with someone.
Because this is like Inner Charlotte, right? She's like, oh, you can't be in a relationship if you sleep with him, right? That kind of vibe.
I think yes, partially, and partially it's also what you said, that you want to build this friendship first.
Yeah.
And if I am interested, I want to know them first as a person, because usually the more you learn about them, the more attracted you are, and then probably that will also be more enjoyable.
Agreed, yeah.
There are moments where I think chemistry is like very, very strong, even if on your first date, and then you need to make the decision. I think, like, what category do I want to kind of start from?
Yeah.
Because I do think that once you do that on first date, it sets certain vibe. You are not going to be talking that much and getting to know each other that much.
Preoccupied. I agree. Okay. So no sleeping on the first date. Okay.
Unless that's what you're going for.
Yeah.
That's, I think, really it.
Then it all goes. Wow.
I don't have a specific guiding mechanism. I do think also that usually the guy should pay, but that's because I think that usually they should invite for the first date, right? So I would normally wait until someone asks me to go out, which I think is normal dynamics. And usually that happens, and it's nothing big. I also don't like if like first date is too overwhelming. So I think the other day when we recorded or not, it's kind of all blurred to me now. Like, when are we talking? One guy on Hinge, and I don't think he was serious, but like he basically said, "Do you want to go to Dubai with me and like spend a nice weekend on the beach?" And that was the opening, and I'm like, isn't that
definitely stands out?
That isn't that a little bit too much for first date? Maybe drinks.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's serious or not though. Like that
I
almost
mean,
makes you question, right?
no, yeah, I would not believe that. But even if he would be serious, I would not want that because I think it puts a lot of pressure on me. Like he's
Yeah.
investing or whatever. It can be also she. I
I
don't know.
mean,
There's so much investment. I don't want someone to invest so much into me if we don't even know if we like each other.
it's a
So
lot of pressure.
I do think that I prefer light dates, which are like, walk or some fun activity or
Yeah.
drinks, just to
Lunch,
see
late dinner.
whether exactly whether you vibe. And usually that person who asks should pay. And because I'm like fucking traditionalist and European, I want men to ask for the first date.
Oh no, I agree. I agree. I think it also kind of sets the scene because like there's only so much you can do to hint being like I'm into you. Can you just already ask me out?
Oh yeah, I
It's
mean you either say it by accepting or matching with them on social media or with your body language and
or just
sending
even your conversation. If you're dropping like
femininity
flirty
signals.
hints,
Yeah,
yeah, like get a dictionary.
it's power of sex. Is that power of female sex?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's
yeah,
pretty clear.
yeah,
Yeah. So um, that's pretty much it. Let me think.
yeah. But I don't know. I feel like the Dubai on a first date is very much giving Tinder swindler. Like, remember when that was a thing? It almost did.
Like I'm wondering, does anyone actually buy this? Like any girl, would they actually think that this is like
I
real
don't. I
or
hope
or
not.
appealing?
I mean, it definitely stands out. It really does spur an interesting conversation,
Unless you
but
are
nothing more than
actually
that.
looking for that type of thing, which is
But
more.
also, it's like, why are you investing that much money into like someone you've never met? That's also like a bit of a red flag to me.
Yeah, it gives escort vibes.
Maybe, maybe.
You never know. I mean, I have
I
been
mean, have you ever
approached.
gotten the sugar daddy messages on Hinge?
No,
Oh,
I
I
think
once upon a
I
time,
think my age limit is set low for that
that's what I was
because
saying. I think once as like just for funsies, just like that other time for funsies that I changed my Hinge settings to Austin. Um, but this time for funsies, I
no
changed my
comment.
age settings. Um, and so I was getting
to
messages of
to
like,
what? To what?
I think I said it, the upper limit was like 50. Um,
Oh, like for men. I thought you
yeah.
changed your age.
No, 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 no. I
Oh,
mean,
50.
I'm
Okay.
so well preserved. No, no, it's like for guys. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
you
did
look
get a couple
18,
messages.
Elizabeth. You look 18.
Thanks. Um, or as someone's parents might say I do. Um, but yeah, like so yeah, I changed my Hinge settings and essentially I was getting messages of like, oh, like I'd love to take you out for dinner, like that kind of thing. And then there was some messages that really did give like sugar daddy vibes. And I was just like, I don't know if I could do that. This kind of
Have
going
you
back to the
tried?
whole like, no, I do have some friends that have, and it was like during university. And again, like we're all in university, we're all just trying to like make it through. But she did have like a sugar daddy, I think, buy her like a MacBook and like an Apple Watch or something. And she had dinner with him and nothing
Great.
else.
I mean, that's a great deal. Good for her.
Yeah, I just don't know if I could do it. I don't know, like,
I mean, the chances that like you cannot really say, I think, ever.
yeah, that's true. Never say never.
No, I
Just like
mean,
Justin Bieber said.
that's not what that's not what I meant. Just, that's not totally not what I meant. I
What
meant
did you mean?
that you never know what they actually want from you. Like it literally just might be dinner, and
Yeah,
they just want to have company and give you
yeah.
something in exchange. I mean, good for you. But they can like you never know if there is something more behind it maybe, and this power imbalance can like I think
Just got to get a contract, you know,
yeah. I mean, you should.
set
But
your
I don't.
boundaries.
I mean, like, you want to bring contract on a first date or whatever that is. It's a case of sugar daddy dynamics.
I mean, speaking of contracts, I think prenup is going to be another interesting topic for the episodes in the future. But We'll get to that when marriages start falling.
I honestly think we discussed 3 episodes in this one podcast, which is why it's
Okay,
1
we'll
hour and
hold
30 minutes.
our horses. Okay, goodness, we got to wrap up. All right.
Yeah.
Conclusions. What's our?
Did we even? I think we kind of just.
We kind of did.
The different things.
I love it.
Answer. I'm gonna read the answer that Carrie gave. Kind of. So she was thinking at the end of the episode as she approached the table with her friend Amalita and other new guys, and she got another invitation. She was thinking about, okay, do I want to have this type of life where it probably would be a good life, luxury, lifestyle, rich husband and richer divorce? And then she says, just because Venice was sinking, it doesn't mean my morals have to go with it. And I think that was a great way of putting it.
Poor Venice.
That at the end of the day, probably not for Carrie, but the takeaway is you need to understand who you are as a person, what your morals are, and also how you want to present yourself to the world, I think.
Yeah. And if you want those like consequences to catch up to you, I think I agree. Would you?
With what?
The conclusion with Carrie. Do you share her hot takes?
I mean, I did think about it a lot of times, especially when I was younger. I knew a lot of girls who would do escorts from my country.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, no judgment. It's really about morals and how you want to be perceived. And I do resonate more with Carrie because at the end of the episode, we also see that they manage actually to get into the restaurant on their own terms and by feeling, 100% comfortable with how that was managed. So I would say there are always ways to reach the goal in a way that fits your morals and whatever you're comfortable with, and still being able to achieve the same as maybe another direction that seems to be faster but not fully aligned with who you are.
Yeah. No, I think I agree, as well as like it really depends on, because I think in order to be an escort, like even if I'm just thinking of like how it would feel, but you kind of almost have to detach yourself from the actual relationship, right? It's like you can't have feelings. I think there's even a separate series on this called Escort. But
Really?
yeah, I think I forgot where it was on, but it was like ages ago.
That's after we finish Sex and the City.
After we finish Sex and the City, but yeah, I think like I agree that it's whatever you kind of want to get out of it. If you're someone who just like wants a relationship, probably not the setup for you because like they're not looking for the same thing. But if you are just looking to keep someone company and I don't know, even end up sleeping with them because that's what you agreed on and that's like the boundary that you said, that's fine. But I think it's what you want to get out of it and like how much of yourself you're willing to give into it.
Or how much transactional versus not you want that to be.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah.
Gotta write in the contract, have them sign terms and conditions, Cool.
That might not be a bad idea sometimes,
I'm telling you, you can get a tech approach to it.
Yeah. Anyway, well, we kind of talked about everything and nothing. But we made it.
Podcast.
1.5 hours is there. Now we just need to edit and release it to public.
Be out shortly.
Yeah. So next time, you know what's coming? The next episode.
Yeah.
Secret
what is it
sex.
Called? Secret sex. Wow.
I think
we talked about power female sex, but now secret.
Yeah, I think that episode is one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Ones.
It's a spicy one. Good outfits there too.
Oh, I did not know this. Oh my god, I need to rewatch it. I like the main
There's a bus included.
Oh, is that one? Okay.
Style one.
We're gonna talk about it more next week. But you have something to look forward, and hopefully we will soon involve you in our analysis as well.
Yeah. I think, if anybody wants to follow us, it's going to be Girls in the City Top Pod on both Instagram and TikTok. We're going to be asking questions. If you have any inputs or stories or anything you'd want to share, we're going to post it on the stories. And yeah, or you can also DM us. Please do. Yeah, we'll start incorporating people into this because I think that'd be really fun too.
It's gonna be fun. Cool. All right. Nice chat. I now know what type of dating rules you have, and how I can tell whether you're looking for something serious or not.
Fair. Goodness. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.